Hello, it's Colleen, and I am going to read a little report that I wrote about the astrological weather of 2026. So, quite a year it's been already, right? I mean, it's been insane, but so let's just see where the planets are and how they're going to be messing with us this year, or not. We're going to be growing and we're going to be changing and, hopefully restructuring a lot of stuff, which is basically what the planets are saying here. So let me just read you my little report here. The astrological weather of 2026. 7 major shifts reshaping reality. 2026 is not an ordinary year astrologically. Multiple outer planets change signs. The lunar nodes shift and eclipse corridors open new paths. This is a year of fundamental restructuring, personally and collectively. The major transits are the Saturn in Aries, February 13th, 2026, until April 12th of 2028. Saturn, the planet of structure, discipline, limitation, and mastery, enters the sign of Aries, the sign of the self, of initiation, of courageous new beginnings. This is the cosmic backbone of the 1 year. Saturn in Aries says, get serious about who you are. Discipline your identity. Take responsibility for your selfhood. Saturn in Aries is not comfortable energy. Saturn has a way of basically making us deal with the stuff we don't want to deal with. When they say Saturn returns, it comes around about every 30 years. And it basically sort of puts in your face the stuff that you've tried to put on the back burner and say, I'm not ready to deal with this yet. It kind of brings it up for you and makes you face it, whether you want to or not. And so that's why, when we are like 28 to 30, we're usually going through some craziness and stuff. And it's just simply that we're in that next stage. We're changing. It helps us to kind of look at ourselves and reflect. And Saturn is really good about that. I love Saturn for that reason. I mean, it's also hard. It can be really hard because there's a lot of things that we don't want to deal with, and we'll shove them down. We'll kind of stuff them. At least I do. I'm a stuffer. But we'll stuff them down, and then we'll, lovely Harley's outside. I'm at a car show right now in Arizona. So anyway, Saturn in Aries is not comfortable energy. Aries wants to rush forward while Saturn demands patience. The tension produces disciplined action, neither reckless charging nor paralyzed waiting, but steady, determined progress on your path. For the collective, expect restructuring of how we think about individuality, leadership, and independence. Institutions that fail to honor individual sovereignty will be tested. Leaders will be held accountable. Let's hope. Neptune in Aries is the second big planetary alignment. Neptune in Aries returns January 26th of 2026, and it's going to stay there. Right now it's kind of in a retrograde. It sort of came into Aries for a minute last year, and now it's coming back. It went back into a Pisces, and now it's coming back in again. It's going to return and then stay there and move forward and into its next thing. Neptune. I think it's 64 years for Neptune. That might be Jupiter. Or Uranus, actually. That's Uranus. I'm not sure about years on Neptune. I should know that. I do know that. I just, it's not coming to me right now. Anyway, Neptune in Aries is coming back. It returns January 26th of 2026, remaining until 2039. Okay, so 26 until 39 is 15 years. So Neptune is a 15-year cycle. And then it will be moving into Taurus. But anyway, so Neptune is a 15-year cycle, and moving into Aries on January 26th, and will remain there until 2039. Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, spirituality, and dissolution, settles into Aries after briefly dipping back into Pisces in late 2025, right? So it did kind of go do retrograde, like I said before. Anyway, Neptune in Aries dissolves old identities and dreams new ones into being. It spiritualizes the self, brings mystical dimension to personal identity, but can also create confusion about who you are. The warning with Neptune can deceive. Neptune deceives. In Aries, it might create false certainty, thinking you know who you are when you're actually lost in illusion. With Aries, they're sort of like they're the ram, so they're going for it. They start things, but they're not very self-aware. There's a lot of they have a hard time with introspection and looking inside of themselves, and kind of being aware of their reality. When Neptune is in Aries, it basically can deceive. It might create false certainty, thinking you know who you are when you're actually lost in illusion, like I said before. The antidote is grounding, discernment, and willingness to question even your most cherished self-concepts. So being self-aware, it's hard to do when you're in Aries or in Aries energy. But that's kind of the key. For the collective, a new spiritual vision is being seeded, one that honors the individual soul's journey. Expect new spiritual movements focused on personal awakening rather than collective doctrine. So the third planetary alignment is when Uranus is going to settle into Gemini. So it's doing the same thing. All the planets kind of came in last year for a moment and then kind of went into retrograde. Uranus was one of them, and now it's moving back in. So Uranus is going to settle into Gemini in April of this year, the 25th and 26th of 2026. So the Uranus, the planet of revolution, breakthrough, awakening, and disruption. So it's going to fully enter Gemini after its initial ingress in 2025. So the thing about Gemini is it's communication. It's the twins, right? There's a lot of duality with Gemini. It's I think one thing and I say another. Geminis are good at lying to themselves. So we need to be careful not to let that happen. We need to kind of not let ourselves lie to ourselves about it. We have to actually see the truth and look through the communication, delusions we try to tell ourselves sometimes. So Gemini does revolutionize communication, information, and thought itself. This is the transit of all breakthroughs. Communication technology, leaps, and radical changes in how we think, learn, and share information. So AI will probably be coming in and being really big, and the quantum computing they're talking about, all these things. There's new fusion stuff happening. There's all kinds of new technologies and things like that are coming into play, as well as our own kind of connection with source and being able to basically telepathize. I don't know if that's a word, but just, being more able to read people through energy. Uranus and Gemini is going to help with that. So it's going to, basically bring radical changes to how we think, learn, and share information. The relevance to the 1 year, as we reclaim our individual frequencies, Uranus in Gemini provides the tools. New ways of communicating your truth, new technologies for sovereignty, new mental frameworks for understanding ourselves. Warning: Uranus in Gemini can also mean information overload, mental fragmentation, and disruption of stable thought patterns. Use technology consciously. Don't let it use you. It's really important. With the AI, we really do need to remember to think for ourselves. Like, yeah, it's a great tool, but we need to, remember that it's a tool. It's not our personal heart brain cohesion. It's not our coherence. It's which is really where we need to focus this year's connecting to our luminous beings. Okay, so Jupiter, the fourth planetary alignment is Jupiter is going to enter Leo on June 30th of 2026. Jupiter, the planet, and that one stays there for a long time. So Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, optimism, and growth, enters Leo, the sign of creative self-expression, royalty, and the heart. Jupiter in Leo is generous, dramatic, and confidence-building. This transit, lasting until July of 2027, expands your capacity for creative expression, your sense of personal specialness, and your heart-centered power. In a 1 year, Jupiter in Leo amplifies the theme: express yourself, create bodily, lead from the heart. The second half of 2026 has a different energy than the first, more expansive, more confident, and more celebratory. Just because the planets have moved and they're finally starting to settle in to the places they're going to be, all those outer planets that are sort of shifting as we speak. The warning for Jupiter in Leo is that it can inflate our egos. We need to be careful about our egos and our self-talk. We have to not. Leo needs to be center stage. We need to not let our egos get in our way and our arrogance. We need to, keep our pride in check and try to be more humble. Encourage excessive pride and creates drama. Stay humble. Remember the magician. Power flows through you, not from you. The magician is the 1 year. In Tarot, the magician is the one. It's as above, so below. And the power does flow through us, the collective force of this planet. Okay, so the lunar nodes are going to shift to Aquarius and Leo on July 26th of 2026. The North Node enters Aquarius, the South Node enters Leo. This sets the eclipse axis and the collective destiny path for the next 18 months. North Node in Aquarius calls us toward collective consciousness, humanitarian values, innovation, and community. Our South Node in Leo asks us to release excessive egos, drama seeking, and our need for personal recognition. This creates fascinating tension with the 1 year energy. The numerology says, become sovereign, find yourself, lead yourself. The nodes say, now bring that self into service of the collective. The integration, individuate in order to contribute. Become a strong, clear self, not for ego gratification, but so you have something real to offer the whole. So we need to keep that in mind, that our egos can get in the way of progress if we aren't humble and don't humble ourselves and listen to the inner guidance of our source energy. Okay, so Pluto is going to continue through Aquarius. Pluto is going to continue through Aquarius, the planet of transformation, Pluto, death and rebirth. Power and shadows is now firmly in Aquarius, having finally left Capricorn in late 2024. So it's finally just settling in there. This, I believe, is the true age of Aquarius when Pluto has moved in there. So Pluto in Aquarius transforms collective structures, technology, social networks, and how we think about power itself. In 2026, Pluto moves through the early degrees of Aquarius, particularly impacting those with planets in fixed signs around 4 to 6 degrees. So if you're having, the fixed signs are like Taurus, Capricorn, uh, Cancer? Is it Cancer? No, I think that's the mutable. Anyway, so if you're in a fixed sign, that's the cardinal, the mutable, and the fixed. If you're in a fixed sign, then you, around 4 to 6 degrees, you want to watch your early degrees of Aquarius. The deep work. Power is being redistributed. Old power structures. Capricorn are dying. New forms of collective power, Aquarius, are being born. The individual sovereignty, 1 year, is part of this larger transformation. The collective needs empowerment, individuals, not sheep. Please don't be sheeple. We need to be individuals. We need to use our brains and get out there and fix what's going on, and bring the change we want to see. Be the change we want to be. Yeah. The eclipses of 2026 are going to be, they're basically cosmic reset points. They're portals where fate accelerates and new paths open. So we're going to have an annular solar eclipse in Pisces at 28 degrees on February 17th of 2026. It was just in a couple weeks. A new beginning related to spirituality, compassion, dissolution, and release. Just before Neptune fully commits to Aries, this eclipse offers a final Piscean initiation. And then on March 3rd of 2026, we're going to have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo at 12 degrees. A culmination and release related to health, service, discernment, and practical spirituality. What habits, routines, or service patterns need to end? That's the question we need to ask ourselves at that point. So, anyway, that's my little report for our astrology weather, our planetary weather of 2026. And, I hope that this can help with what's going on in our world and how you face your day going forward. I really just want to pull a little Rumi card just to kind of see how's our year going to go, Rumi. How is our day? How's our year? What is our message for the year, Spirit? What's our message for the year? What do we need to think about for the year? We've got 2 messages here. Okay, we got 2 messages here. The lover and the beloved. When you move into the unknown beyond everything, the beloved carries the beloved caresses you. Oh, how I'm not able to read right now. Oh, how you have been burned before, abandoned, betrayed, so painfully disappointed, cast aside, suffering at the hands of an unworthy lover. Can the great divine love affair be tarred with the same brush? Will bitter expectations keep your heart locked away behind a mean-spirited gate? Something needs to change within you so that you can receive. It may simply be that you say yes. Say yes to the opportunities that are coming for 2026. Okay. The other one that came out was from nothing to everything. Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page. Sometimes you are asked to surrender a fantasy because reality is knocking at your door. It is a divine paradox that reality may deliver what you have been fantasizing about, but in an unexpected form. The divine knows how it will work best. Let go with trust in your heart. The divine is guiding you from fantasy into the fulfillment of what you have imagined. These cards are beautiful. All right, so that's my little message for today. I hope you guys are having a good year. And yep, I'll be back and I'll do some readings and stuff over the year, and a little bit of astrology forecasts and numerology, and I kind of do a little bit of all of that stuff, so I will kind of dabble in a little bit of all of it for you guys. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and yeah, I love you.